Ayo, I'm Tits,
Hello, everyone, and I'm Areola.
and we are reviewing Pleasantville today. Oh
Yes.
boy, man, I'm angry at my internet. I just gotta get this out because this movie is all about being pleasant, and an unpleasant thing happens to me was the internet went out, and you know how the internet has like routine scheduling stuff. Like it's like, oh wow, your internet's down for like a couple hours. You're welcome. And I'm like, what? I had a show tonight. And then it's like, well, nope, don't care. We're fixing the internet right now. And yep, you can't do anything about that.
Well,
I
they
bet that's
always pick a
relatable.
they always pick a weird time to do it at. Like,
Yeah.
why don't y'all do it at like 3 in the morning or 4 in the morning?
No, let's just do
Not
it at 10 p.m. Let's do it
yeah.
like right when you're supposed to get live. So let's do it right here, right now.
Yeah. Best time for you to not have access at all. Hey, Dalish, how's
Exactly.
it going?
Ooh.
Uh, there's
So
Dalish.
Pleasantville, man. That's pleasant.
Yeah, I haven't seen this. I've seen this movie once before, and I hadn't seen it in forever, and I had no idea like how much what is it like um symbolism there is in this movie. There's a
Yeah, there's a
lot
lot
of
of it.
symbolism.
Yeah, there's a ton of it.
Yeah, I was tripped out.
Yeah, I really like the very beginning of it.
Well, you
Let's just jump right into it cuz
yeah, no,
my
definitely.
internet rant is out. So, okay, so the right into it. We're looking at a beautiful community of this dysfunctional family. So beautiful, in fact, that we have an arguing mother, and then we have a sister who is of frick, I forgot his name. I feel like a dummy. I forget names all the
Who, the
time.
actor?
Yeah, not the actor, the character's name.
Oh, I don't even remember his name. I just know the in the show Pleasantville, you have Bud and Mary Sue. And I thought that was funny that her name's Mary Sue. When my niece tells me like the whole
Yeah,
idea of a Mary Sue is like her character is supposed to be like a real plain girl.
I did like how her name was that. Actually, it was David and Jennifer. That's their names.
Okay.
Now I'm thinking of it. So we have David and Jennifer have this terrible life. Jennifer is being like a bitch. And then we have David is trying to escape by watching Pleasantville all the time. And his
hmm
mother is like always yelling on the phone about something.
Yeah, this reminds me a lot of my life after like my parents got divorced, where you have the brother and sister
Yeah.
fighting, and then the mother who doesn't really is supposed to be there to care about your children, but she's worried about her own life because she's kind of by herself now.
Yeah.
And then you have the kid wanting to escape reality through TV.
Yeah. I mean, I also heavily relate to this experience as well. Although my escape was not through TV, it was through media. So, I mean, that is TV, I guess. Art, drawing specifically.
hmm
So, like,
hmm
it seems like a very relatable thing to a lot of people. So that's why this movie immediately hits, you know?
No, it hit me real hard because I that's how I would escape. I would watch these old time shows like on Nick at Night, and they had a
Yeah.
lot of these. Like, I know a lot of these tropes, the black and white TV shows where you have the families and all the like things they're making fun of at the beginning when they head into the black and white world. It's real funny, because you
Yeah.
get it. hmm
Exactly. I do like how it is fighting that causes the entire movie to happen. It's fighting between Jennifer and David over the remote because there's a Pleasantville marathon happening at the same time that we have Jennifer is having like a boy over. And like, first of all, Jennifer, that boy don't like you. First of all, you've been trying so hard to try to be with him, but he don't like you that much. Okay.
even that is a classic plot trope where like you have the brother and sister fighting. I gotta watch my TV for a contest. Well, I gotta watch it because I got a boy over, and even that's like a classic plot from like the 1950s. You know?
Yeah. It's just like it just seems like everything about this movie just ties in so well together. Also, my favorite part of this movie is just like the oh, we got the TV remote. It's broken. And then there's a doorbell, and then there's just a guy there to give you a TV remote. And I'm like, isn't that strange?
And
Yeah.
you know well that's a trope too. I feel like back to the 1950s where something would happen and then conveniently someone would be at the door.
Yeah.
And you do you know who that actor is? Don Knotts.
No, I don't know who that is.
The guy who gave them the remote, he is like one of the most classic black and white TV show actors. He was on the Andy Griffith Show.
Mm.
He was on fucking what is it? Three's Company. He did a lot of classic TV. So
Oh,
having him as like the remote guy was just like a big old wink to classic
that's
black and
fun.
white TV. Yeah,
Well,
Don Knotts. He's hilarious.
Don Knotts. I like that name a lot.
Yeah,
Don Knotts. Hee
I
hee.
mean, he's really old in this movie, but if you like go back and look at Don Knotts, his facial expressions, he's fucking hilarious the way he like reacts to things.
It is pretty funny. I do like his character a lot in this movie. I also do like how comically big the remote is because it doesn't look
Yeah.
like a TV remote. And we have David and Jennifer. Well, Jennifer just wants everything to be like, yeah, yeah, fine, we'll take it, whatever. And then we have David. He's like looking at this. He's suspicious, but like he won't say anything. So this is a great testament to their character pretty much
Mhm.
immediately.
And I love the idea that like it's one of these new TVs. You need the remote to turn it on, and it's just like so silly. And then
Yeah.
the remote looks like something out of like Fallout 4. Like it's so big and old school. Just
It does
one
not
button.
look like a TV remote at all. Oh, let's just have us fight over that remote now. We're just going to do the same thing with that remote and accidentally click it and get ourselves sucked into a world where everything is
Mhm.
supposed to be pleasant.
Mhm.
Oh
And so
boy.
that starts the whole movie. And I don't know, man, like the way they react is so like more normal than I would react. I'd be scared as fuck if I got put into like a TV world that was black and white, you know?
What would you do if you
I
were
don't
put in this
know
world? You don't know? I think what I would do
because
is probably what Jennifer is doing and start fucking everything up because it's fun that way.
see, but like the way well for one that the boy Toby Maguire, what would you say his name was?
Because
Uh
Toby Maguire is David.
he
Yeah.
knows all about this world, so he
Yeah.
wants to play by the rules. I guess if you want to say that, and then the
Yeah.
girl's like, "I don't give a fuck," but he's scared. Like, well, what if we don't play by the rules? What happened? What will happen to this world? You know?
Yeah, I'm actually quite interested to see like like while watching this movie, like if the world necessarily needs to play by the rules that it's set in. Like if the TV guy didn't want this freaking David and Jennifer to mess with this perfect little world, why the fuck did he send them into the world to begin with?
Yeah, it's very strange that I mean, you know why the remote guy chose David because he knows everything. He's like a pro at this TV show. But I don't know if the girl was an accident or why she like
The
you know
girl
she
was
went into the
definitely
world.
an accident.
Yeah, yeah.
So what
And I'm sorry.
I was like, what's interesting about her being an accident, it's like, we can't control for other people's variables
Mhm.
too.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
like you just got another person just doing whatever the fuck they want. And now there goes the perfect little world that you have. Instead, everything is turning into color. Got more colorful things happening. Everybody's like being introduced to this idea of, oh, sex exists. What? Two people can sleep in a bed together and not have
you,
separate beds?
you know who that dude was that she hooks up with? Uh
No, I don't know who that
that's
was.
Paul Walker.
That was Paul Walker?
Yeah, yeah. I was all,
Oh,
man, rest in
actually,
peace, Paul
oh my
Walker.
goodness. I have terrible face blindness. So like it's really with the iconic faces that I'm just able to like recognize and
Yeah, well, he was
like
real
Toby
young.
Maguire. Yeah, I was
Uh,
young. I
Paul
remember.
Walker was super young, and he's in the car when he picks up Mary Sue, and they go to Lover's Lane, and he trips out at how like he's like, I feel sick. And she's like, no, you're supposed to feel like that. Like she just like fucked him or something.
Oh jeez. I feel that seems a little forceful. That's really forceful. Wow, I don't like that about her personality. That part of her I don't really like that much. That ugh.
Well, I mean, that's I don't know. That's just her because it's like, what do y'all do at Lover's Lane? And it's like, well, I'll show you what we do at Lover's Lane or
We just
whatever.
we just look at the river or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever is in front of them, I
And
guess.
yeah, hold hands or
Is
whatever
it
you
just an
want to call it.
excuse to have sex? What
Yeah.
it's
Well,
yeah.
now it is. Now it
Yeah.
is. And
Now it
then
is.
and then here's what trips me out about Bud or Toby Maguire's character is that he knows where they're at the point of the season of the show. Like, oh, this is supposed to happen. It's but whatever his name is supposed to take Mary Sue out to prom, and
Yeah.
I have to go get a job. And so like he's trying to carry out the story while his sister's there just being a whore and
Yeah. Like,
fucking that
he's
dude.
also being super meta, too,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
talking to the character like the basketball dude, so it's like, "Oh, I'm in a basketball team, do 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 do," and he's like, "Oh, you're gonna say this exact thing," and then, like, the basketball guy's like, "What? That's weird." Like,
Yeah.
"You're trying to, like, tell me what I'm gonna say before I say it?"
You're gonna give my sister your high school ring, and he's all, how do you know? Da do to do, you know? And
Exactly.
and then when he does get that job, he gets there late, and the guy at the diner who's played by Jeff Daniels, he's like, I didn't know what to do. I just kept wiping because you were late. And you look at the table and it's all fucking rowdy, scuffed, like he's been just wiping it for hours and hours, you know?
Yeah, man, I just hope that somehow he can take what tiny bit of control that he has like while I'm watching this movie. I'm like, I hope he can take some control, but at this
Hmm.
point it's like too far gone. It's way too far
Yeah,
gone.
yeah. As soon as after they had sex in the at Lovers Lane, you already see color in the world with the roses, like
Yeah,
the rose being red, and it's like, oh shit, what have we done, or what has she done, you know? And
exactly.
and then you start seeing color in the world, whether it be people, whether it be items, uh, who've
Yeah,
I don't
like
know what it's supposed
homes.
to.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know if it's supposed to represent like in a person what you have inside you and it's woken up, or it's supposed to represent the change in society.
I think what it was supposed to represent is what you would normally not do. Like, so like we have the people in monochrome would normally just be a like, not having sex. But if you've had sex for the first time, that is something you would not normally do. So they're changing color because it's like a whole like I think the movie really speaks to the nuance of life, really.
What to me it speaks like you're saying that way, but then also it speaks to the idea of the way TV evolved, like because you had black and white TV, you had the classic like "Honey, I'm home," and it was always about the wife getting the food ready, the children going to school, the man
Yeah.
working, and then whenever TV did go to color more in the 60s or 70s, you had more TV shows like Mary Tyler Moore, where it was led by a woman about her life, about her job, trying to find a man. So,
Yeah.
like, it was completely different at the same time, you know? It
Yeah.
There's
It
a
was like
lot of
there's a lot of
symbolism in this.
yeah, there's also a lot of different changes too. Like I think what makes for example, what makes Jennifer from monochrome to color is she starts reading because she
Mhm.
normally wouldn't have read, but she got bored of hooking up with a bunch of guys and just wanted to be reading, and then that made her colorful. So I think it really is just like something you wouldn't normally do, I guess.
That too, and then you have the whole idea of in the civil rights movement from the 50s to the
Hmm.
60s when black people became more into white people's environments, or in this term
Yeah.
they call them colored people, but that, or where you had women who wanted to actually work, or the men who went to war so the women had no choice to work. There's again like so much. I was like, what the fuck? I didn't remember this much symbolism being in this movie when I saw it a while back, you know?
When did you first see it?
I
Cuz
don't remember. I do not remember. I just remember like, "Oh, Tobey Maguire, I love Spider-Man." And I watched it, you know, and I watched it and it was cool. It's a beautiful movie,
yeah, it is.
but like you're there watching it now for all the symbolism, and there's so many layers. Even, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to like interrupt you, but
Right.
even whenever Toby Maguire first goes to Lover's Lane and that chick hands him an apple and it's like the Garden of Eden where the
Yeah.
girl had, and then whenever he eats it and he turns color eventually, that Don Knotts tells him, "I put you in a perfect world, and look at you, you ate this apple." So he was kind of like representing God
Yeah.
and saying like, "I put you in a perfect world, and all you wanted to do was make it imperfect, like Adam and Eve did." I'm like,
Yeah.
God damn, there's so much fucking shit.
You know, I did not catch that. I did not catch that either. Man, I really like Pleasantville, and like. There's so much. Yeah, like you said, I was so entrenched in just so much symbolism. But also, I gotta. There's another thing that I really liked about it is now we're also dealing with like the cultural shift, the cultural divide because of that. Like
Hmm.
we got a bunch of Technicolor people versus monochrome people.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
the Technicolor people were like really enjoying the life. They're like, yeah, we were people, blah blah blah. And then we have monochrome people who are like, I don't want to talk to them. I don't want them to have rights or freedoms or any of that stuff. I just want things to go back to the where they were. And it's
Back to the way they've always been, blah blah
yeah.
blah. And they
But
even
we
have that logo of the town people with like the two hands shaking. It almost looks like white power like symbolism or Nazi symbolism too. The two hands like shaking.
yeah. This oh man, this movie also made me have a little bit of a think cuz it's like you could either like have people divided like this movie says a lot about the monochrome people want to cause division. We got the Technicolor people want to bring everybody together. And it's like, okay, how are we going to convince convince everybody this is actually a good thing? Because David's now into it. He has to live in the world that he's created. He's confronting the guy who put him who even put him here in the first place. He has to go confront and be like, "Hey, I know I wanted to leave, but now I want to stay. And I'm going to do what's right. I'm going to do what I got to do right now." And then
Hmm.
I really like the courage that he has to stand up against that judge guy. The guy is like super monochrome,
Hmm.
and it's like, how do we change him from monochrome the color to like tell him like what the good things about being colorful is, you know?
And I especially liked, and I think you would appreciate it and understand it more. But when the diner character starts getting his eyes open to art,
Yeah.
and he's like looking at that art book that Bud brings him, and it's like blowing his mind, like seeing these works of art, and he's like, "What's this one? And what's this one?" And it's just kind of beautiful the way that's how he uh becomes colored, I guess. His
Yeah.
character or his whatever's inside of him awakens because of the beauty of art, and painting.
And he's able
And
to
then
like create and
mm,
stuff. Yeah.
yeah, and then he wants to be with Bud's mother, who is stuck in a relationship with her husband even though she doesn't love him anymore, but that's just the way things were back then. You just
You
stuck
just
together
stuck together for survival.
for the
Just
kids, for survival, or just cuz that's like you for the it's almost like those old Christian values where even if you're not happy, that's God wants you all to be together, for God or whatever.
yeah, that's a good analysis on that. I do really like where the mother is like, "I've had enough of this. I do want to be in a relationship with that other guy, not you, Bud's mother. Fuck you." And then like she leaves. I thought that scene was
I,
pretty fun.
I like the part when her daughter tells her about masturbating and
Yeah.
she goes to the bathtub and I don't know if she uses her hand or the faucet. And then
I
the
don't know.
fucking and then but either would work, I imagine, right? The faucet
Well,
or the hand.
no, though, yeah, if you want the faucet to work, you really have to like get up into the faucet to
Yeah,
really
yeah,
work.
yeah. I was thinking
Like,
that too. You gotta get
so
it
she
weird,
probably
but
just used her hand.
and she screams so loud the fucking tree catches on fire, and that's almost biblical too, because there was like a burning bush in the Bible.
The
That's why
world
I'm
is
like,
exploding. The
it's
universe is exploding.
yeah, it's like changing our minds, and then the firemen don't know what to do. They're like,
They're just
"What?
looking at it.
Yeah, there's an actual fire. What do we do? We only save kittens from trees because this is fucking Pleasantville."
Well, I like how David is like, "Here, fireman, I'll teach you how to fire men, okay? I'll be the
Yeah.
fireman. I'm gonna do the firing if you won't do the firing." Zoom, like with the water at the tree. I'm like, aha, beautiful. He has to do literally everything because
Mhm.
nobody has any concept of badness in this universe.
And he knows the rules of the world because he's seen the show so much, so he knows kind of how to explain it to them to
Yeah.
not seem like such an outsider. And then he wins an award for saving the fucking tree or whatever, the fire. And then that girl wants to be with him, and she's like, "I made you these cookies. Oh, you're supposed to be with some other guy. No, they're for you. They're for you." And you could tell like she's all horny for him because she made him
Yeah.
fucking thing of cookies.
Oh man, the fucking father, Bud's father, is just like sitting there like, oh, I feel so
Yeah,
bad
honey,
for him.
I'm home.
I just want him to have love. I want him to find love.
See,
That
but what's beautiful about it is that and then in that sort of ending speech, he tells his dad, "Don't you want your wife to be happy? You did love her once. You still do love her. It sucks that she fell out of love with you, but don't you want her to be happy?" And then that's when he turns color because
yeah,
he's like, "That's all I want is for her to be happy, my wife." And who knows? Maybe they got like a threesome going on or something. We don't know
maybe
a thruple,
they could have a
but
throuple going. Well,
mhm.
yeah, I mean, I guess it'd be kind of sad for the husband to be in a throuple like that. Oh man, I was just kind of like, I feel like that would burn. Like you're like, oh man, I know you're happier with this guy, but like, yeah, I can't have you now. Well, I guess I'm gonna go away. you know?
Well, she wants to be with the diner dude who knows why she's beautiful because he drew that like naked painting of her.
Yeah.
Like it's like he knows her soul or however you want to say it in the movie. Like I don't know.
Yeah, literally knows how to like paint what the like a painting is like art. It's supposed to encapsulate art. Introducing art to this society has broken it. So like really think that I think that art this is a great commentary on just like the function of art in our society too because you got to have art in order to explain life. CC. You gotta have art in order to explain how sometimes you gotta just struggle. You gotta suck it up and be like, all right, well, I'm just gonna do the thing. All right, I'm gonna do painting, and I have to keep painting in order to keep painting, and then keep painting in order to make a perfect piece. You can't just be like, oh well, I'm done painting now, and then there's no art there.
Mhm.
It's really the pursuit of it is what is the art.
And
Yeah,
it's beautiful that he's like allowed to do that now, because
yeah,
all like before it's like, well, what were you before? I was just a dude running a diner, and now I'm making beautiful art pieces, and that's what you could say about the world with us. Like let's say you, right? You, for
yeah.
instance, what if your parents or whoever you had never gave you a crayon and paper to draw? Like, let's say that, right? Like
That's
it would have
true.
never awoken your creativity, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And it's stuff like that, that like, okay, this guy had a diner, someone opened his eyes with paintings, and now he wants to paint. He's making these beautiful pieces. So it's, I don't know, there's just, it's weird how this movie, like you suggested it because it's the
yeah,
black and white, and I'm
yeah,
like, man, there's so much. Like, did they know all this meaning behind this movie? Like,
yeah.
it's
They must
way
have. They
it's
must
a
have.
lot. To me it was a lot. To me it was a lot, you know.
I really liked the ending though, like how we have David's more of a full person because he's able to stand up for his mother and stand up for like just people other than himself. He can stand up for himself too. He can finally stand up for himself, and then we have Jennifer finally learning how to read, and then I honestly thought that all the knowledge in the world was from David telling the stories. So that all the knowledge in the world is David telling these stories and filling up these books.
I think
So,
it's, yeah, yeah. Well, at least that's the start of it. I feel like once everyone in Pleasantville knows these stories, then they'll start telling their own stories, kind of like that artist that saw all those pieces and he started drawing his own art, you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
So that part, like, I was like, okay, so if the library is full of David's heads, then why the fuck would Jennifer stay in the TV? Why would you stay there? There's
Okay,
other stories out here
I
in the
agree
real
with you on
world.
that. I agree with you so much on that. I'm like, why did she stay in this world? Like, there's only so far it could go. It's like you're trapped in the matrix after you already know it exists. Like, that, I don't know. Like, you're gonna have to leave that world eventually. So that, yeah, that never made any sense to me, and it still doesn't make any
It
sense to
still
me.
doesn't make any sense. Like, okay, here I am trying to be like, maybe she thinks, she wants to live with that family. She doesn't want to live with this dysfunctional family that she's in the real world. Like, she doesn't want to deal with them at all. She's finally found a mother and like a father figure that wants to love her like the mom will. And so I guess that's the reason why she stays, but like that's a really that's not accounting for how little knowledge there is in that world.
No, it's like knowing it's a fantasy, and you decide, oh, I'll just live in it, even though it's not real. Like if she had her like memory wiped and she became part of the world, maybe that
Yeah.
would make sense. But she knows, like, oh shit, I'm not in a real world. How do you? There's eventually gonna be a border that you reach, like a bedrock. So that never made sense to me. It is nice that what's his name, when he came out of the world, he consoled his mother and was able to like not care about escaping reality from into Pleasantville. But then
Yeah.
don't you think she'd ask, like, where's your sister? Like, you
Yeah.
know?
That part was like maybe he explained it to her sister. I mean, he maybe explained what happened to the sister to the mom, but like I man, it's always confused me. Just that part a little bit confused
Yeah,
me, but
yeah.
the
No, you're
more like
absolutely right.
trying to like explain it more kind of explains more of it to me. So like it's not even that this movie's bad because like it has me thinking that question, why did she stay? Well, she wants to escape from her real life. So and she's
Yeah, but
okay with living in a fantasy.
yeah, and I don't think that's healthy. Like
No.
I feel like it goes against the whole idea of the movie and it kind of just confuses. I feel like they both should have gotten out of there. Maybe bring his girlfriend with him, that new girl, bring her into the real world.
Is that even a thing that could happen?
I
Could
don't
you even
know.
do that?
Like Freddy Krueger shit, like you hold on to her when you're
You
coming out of
pull
the
her
dream
out.
world. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So so yeah, like that's my only like nitpick. Like you're basically explaining it that the girl stayed in the world. Like I don't
But
know,
good
it
for
doesn't make any
David.
sense.
Good
Oh
for
yeah,
David for living in the real world.
he grew his whole character. Even her character grew by like at the beginning being a slut with her like pointy ass boobs in those cardigans. Ah, her boobs look nice. Like they were just
She's got
you
some
could
great tits.
yeah, you couldn't see anything, but they're like pointy, like dang.
Yeah, it's like they're present, and
They're
you
like
want them. It's
they're like
that's what she's dressing for. But now she's like dressing in like a cardigan, kind of like trying
uh-huh.
to hold them away.
But
You
even
know?
then, like in a cardigan, they look like Laura Croft titties, like all triangle.
Yeah,
Like that's kind of hot too. Like I got to even in that world they don't really notice, but yeah,
it's true.
those Laura Croft titties like I like them cuz you want to like use your imagination and see what's in there.
Yeah, I've watching this movie the entire time. I'm just been like, I want to see her tits. What do her
Oh
tits
yeah.
look like?
Oh yeah.
Can I look at her tits? No, there's no pictures of her tits online. Well, that's sad. Dang it, you know?
Her tits are like the golden ratio or something. They're just
Yeah.
perfectly angled. I don't know. But uh
Is
what does
that
it say? Let me see the super chat. Do. They switch wants and become who they want to be.
okay, switch wants and become who they want to be. That's a good analysis,
I
Riley.
feel
I just like
I've
to do
I've
that with words a lot. Just wanted to let you
yeah.
know.
I just feel like just her staying in the world though didn't make any sense. Otherwise, this movie I think is like I don't know, as silly as the beginning is, it's really perfect for its for what it's doing, and
Yeah.
that the middle's great. The way they do every character and they grow, and then the metaphors for the Bible, for the civil rights movement, for black and white TV and color in general. I
Yeah.
love it, but the ending's just silly to me.
Yeah, I think it's just ultimately about choice. So this movie is actually beautifully well done. No questions asked on my part. I answered my own questions now thinking about them. Dang. But like yeah, I agree with you. Wow, the cinematography
Hmm.
and also the it was pretty great. I also really like what is it called? They got their acting. I really like their acting. Their acting really
Hmm.
sells it with, like, the camera angle, like, you can really see, like, what a person's thinking just, like, based on, like, the camera angle, like, "Oh, looking under. Oh, this guy is, like, clearly not knowing what to do with his life or whatever," versus, like, more, like, broad out camera angle, like, taking everything in is, like, more of, an acceptance of life as it is and,
Hmm.
more accepting
Hmm.
it, you
Hmm.
know?
Hmm. Exactly. Yeah, there's so many metaphors for it that it tripped me out. Like I said, you can I saw it like three or four different ways, where I was like, "Oh shit, there's a lot more going on in this movie than just it being color bringing color into a black and white world."
Right. What would you rate this movie, Lorenzo?
I'd say a 9.
A
It's just cuz
9?
the ending like where I'm going to stay in this world. Like nah, that didn't make any sense at all. A 9 though cuz I love Tobey Maguire. I love Jeff Daniels. who played the diner dude. I don't know who played the wife, but she was really good in it.
Yeah.
Like I love the part when her son is helping put on the makeup too.
That was fun. That was really fun. Let me put on makeup to make sure you look presentable to your father who hates you as being you anyway.
And then that's the point too where like the mother's like, "You're not my son, are you?" You know what I mean? Like she knows, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
exactly.
yeah, what would you give this movie, man?
I think I'd give it like a 8.5. Man, I have a whole review on it. I just don't remember. I always forget which rating I give everything. And so I just go based off my gut, and which is
Well, I like
probably a
talking.
bad way to rate things,
Nah,
but
because I like talking. I like talking to you about it after you've already reviewed it. Because I know sometimes I'll sway your opinion with like,
yeah.
"Oh, I didn't see that," or "Oh, I didn't see that,"
Like,
or
Swallow review. I was just thinking about that earlier. How was like I was giving that chick a really hard time, but you like turned the perspective, like, actually I kinda get it, understand it now. So
yeah. No, it's always good to have multiple perspectives, but then to also agree like this ending sucked. Like the
yeah.
whole movie's good, but man, that ending was just there was no I don't know. It was just dumb. I could pick at it.
Exactly.
Yeah, but no, I think it's a good movie. This
It's a good
one,
movie.
yeah, those color effects from what I read, I guess were like kind of what's the word? Not ahead of their time, but less hard to do back then, you know.
Mm.
But they were
Oh, really?
amazing. It looked beautiful, you know.
I don't know how to do those color effects at all, so if anyone can teach me how do you do those color effects, please.
Well, to do a whole movie frame by frame, I'm sure is like difficult and time consuming. Like
Yeah. I
I'm
wonder how
sure
long
not.
this movie took to make.
Dude, and this movie was pretty long too. I think I
Yeah.
think it was like a 2 hour long movie. It was really I mean, now you're making 3 hour long movies, but for what this movie was too, it was long. I think it was a little too long.
I thought it was a perfect length,
I
honestly.
think I think there was some stuff they could have maybe chopped up somewhere that we didn't need to know, like maybe the bowling scene with the black and white and all the men and stuff. I don't know. I'm sure they could have found spots to shorten it, but it was beautiful. There was a lot of symbolism, and
Yeah.
I love Tobey Maguire. It pretty much in
Tobey
everything he
Maguire is
does.
yeah, he's so great in this. Ah.
Mhm. He plays like that emo Spider Man in the real world,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, he does. Oh my goodness. I was just, like, looking at this and thinking, "Oh, he looks like he's, like, acting like Peter Parker in this." He's acting like Peter Parker. Like,
he
I don't know
he
if
is Peter Parker.
yeah, I know he is, but, like, this is before he was Peter Parker, right? I think that
Yeah,
was
but I
yeah.
feel like when they casted him as Peter Parker, he's literally just playing himself. Like it's like Sam Raimi knew this is Peter Parker, fucking Tobey Maguire.
Yeah.
You even though it's a 30-year-old playing a fucking teenager in that movie or whatever. But
It's weird how
we're
life
neither here nor there with how Spider-Man goes. But that was Pleasantville, and I wanted to
Pleasantville.
play a game with you real quick since that's usually what we try to do or I try to do with you. I'm gonna call
Yeah.
this one, what am I gonna call it? Guess the TV show.
Guess the
Cause
TV show.
yeah, because when I was growing up, I would watch a lot of black and white shows, exactly like the plot of this movie.
Alright.
And I'm gonna show you a picture of the show. I'm gonna give you three names that it could be of the TV show, and you have to guess it what it is. And basically all these names are real TV shows.
Oh, fun.
So they're not like me making them up. And then we could talk about if you know the TV show or the silly plot, because shows were silly back in the day. I mean they're silly now too, but they were really silly.
Man, I have, like, before we continue, I have very little experience with, like, old TV shows. Like, I know that I had my dad growing up, watching, like, MeTV, and he would watch Gilligan's Island, and that was, like, it. He would only watch
I
Gilligan's
forgot
Island.
Man, I forgot about Gilligan's Island. That's a classic show. Uh,
All right, so
Let's
there
see.
will be no Gilligan's Island coming up.
No, you won't.
Okay. Okay,
There
good.
might be something. There might be something you might know or might heard of just out of pop culture. But
All right.
let me add this to the show, and here's just our old. Here's our logo in black and white. Everyone can see that, or at
Look at
least
that
for now,
logo.
our logo. So we're gonna start with
Beautiful.
the first one. You zoom in. So this show, is it called Flipper? Is it called Mr. Ed? Or is it called Lassie?
What's the choices again? What?
Is this show here called Flipper? Is it called Mr. Ed? Or is it called Lassie?
Lassie?
You
Lassie.
think it's Lassie?
Yeah.
Okay, no, it is called Mr. Ed.
What who could it possibly be about? Mr.
Okay,
Ed?
Mr. Ed is the plot of this show, and I know I watched it when I was a kid, but I could not remember any plots. But the show, essentially, the horse can talk. His name is Mr. Ed, and he talks to this dude right here, only this dude. His name's Wilbur, and they get into a bunch of hijinks together because he can communicate with the horse.
Wow, wild. That's a cool horse. I want that horse now.
And what's
Can I
funny is
purchase this horse?
and he sounds like, I think I could do an impression. He's like Wilbur, Wilbur, and he's always asking him for like favors, and like a pizza will get there, and they're like, "Who ordered it?" And they'll show that the horse was on the phone somehow, like ordering pizza.
How? But his hooves. What? That's not how.
that that's what's funny about it. You don't know how he fucking did it. Like,
That's funny. I
and
want to watch this show now.
dude, I think I tried to watch the episode. I was like, this is so weird. I can't believe as a kid I used to watch it. But that's Mr. Ed. Oh, also they used to do the thing where they would put like peanut butter in the horse's mouth so it looked like it was moving its lips, and then they would add the voiceover over it,
Oh, that's how they did that. That's cool.
Yeah. That's how they would do it. Very old school. Next clip here. You got two old guys. Is it one, this show, is it called The Odd Couple? Is it called Mr. Peepers? Or is it called The Honeymooners?
Oh, jeez, the honeymooners.
Okay, no. It
Oh.
is called The Odd Couple. And I don't know if anyone remembers this show, but essentially it's about two guys who got divorced. Oh, are
Ah,
you there?
The
Are you still
Odd
there?
Couple. I get it.
Yeah. Two guys that got divorced, and then they ended up living together, and one of them is like a real dirty manly dude, and the other one's a real neat freak who likes everything clean, and that's where the comedy comes from.
Ah, that's
Cuz
fun. I like
cuz they're
juxtaposition.
opposites. Yeah, cuz they're
Yeah,
opposites. Uh and I don't know if they're supposed to be
amazing.
gay, but that wasn't a thing back then, being gay or anything.
I think they're just two homies. They're two homies can just live in a place together without
Mhm.
fucking. They don't got to do that. They can just be roommates, you know?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe so. There never has to be a sexual thing to it. Nowadays, it has to, I guess. All right, we're gonna go to the next one. So, is this uh is this show called The Twilight Zone? Is it called Alfred Hitchcock Presents, or is it called The Outer Limits?
Oh god, this cannot be the Twilight Zone. What the fuck? Uh, it's I'm gonna say the Outer Limits. What the fuck? What is this
No, this
from?
this
Is
is
this
Alfred Hitchcock Presents,
okay?
and uh-huh.
I've never heard of that show before, but I've heard of the Twilight Zone. So as soon as you like mentioned that, I was just like, what? What? I was like trying to think of like what scene it could be from.
Well, and you know the movie Psycho, right? Because
Yeah.
you saw Psycho pretty recently. This was the guy who directed Psycho, Alfred Hitchcock, and
Oh, that's this guy.
essentially he had a show kind of like the Twilight Zone where he would come out, talk about a story, and then it would show the story, kind of like the Twilight Zone
Okay.
with Rod Serling. Would be at the beginning and then say this is the Twilight Zone. So it's basically the same gimmick with different directors and writers.
Oh, that's
Uh,
cool.
the Outer Limits was kind of like Twilight Zone, like a rip off the Twilight Zone. If you had to like
Oh.
say it, I don't think it had a host though. Maybe a hitchhiker or something. I can't remember.
Is it really a proper ripoff if there is no host of the Twilight Zone?
That's what I'm saying. I'm not sure if there was a host. I feel like there was, or it at the beginning it would always like have someone like a narrator,
Mm,
kind of like the Twilight Zone.
that makes sense.
But I kind of like this picture. He just looked like I don't think a crow is the opposite of a seagull.
well, well, seagulls are really dumb and crows are pretty smart. I mean,
That's true.
yeah, crows are like the smartest birds, I think, right?
Uh they do I don't know if they're the smartest, but they're pretty damn smart cuz
Yeah.
they use tools and they remember faces. But seagulls, they just go and grab like on the beach, they'll grab people's ice cream and shit, like
That's true. Fucking
yeah.
crows can just remember you and like that's why it's a bunch of them is called a murder because they're gonna come up on you. If you have a problem with them crows, they're gonna be like, ah, rah, rah, we're gonna
Dude,
kill you, we're gonna murder. That's why they're called murders. That's
it's
my
a
theory.
it's a group of them too, like
Yeah.
so they're gonna all come after you, so you better fucking make sure they're all dead.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
why I always kill a crow. You shoot a crow twice just to make sure it's dead.
Exactly.
Next show. I forgot. We had a game going on here.
Haha.
Uh, next show right here is this called Mork and Mindy? Is this called Lost in Space, or is this called Flash Gordon?
Lost in space. What is
Yes,
it?
it is.
Oh, I
It is.
guessed right.
And I never really watched the show as a kid, but it looks trippy. I've never really watched it though.
It looks like they could be hanging out. They're just having a good old time in on Earth, just in like microwave suits. That's what they're doing. That's what the show it makes me think of. They're not in space at all. Actually, they're just larping.
I love the idea of like how robots looked like in the 50s, like they thought they would look in the future,
Yeah, that's
Like
cute.
yeah, like big old washing machine looking things with like I don't know, they look cool. I kind of wish robots went that route instead of them just looking you know, like they do now.
I actually do like how the robots look like just cylinders instead of like with all them arms about, because
Mhm.
having them arms about is more intimidating than the fucking cylinders. The
Mhm.
cylinders, it's like, oh, it's something that I can control, but then it's like, well, actually, we're controlling you without you realizing. Haha, got him. That's the ploy. Got him. It's more
Well,
subtle.
I hate how we're making robots that look so similar to humans that it's gonna be kind of like Ex Machina, where they're gonna like assimilate into society where we don't know which one is which. Like that's what I don't like.
Right. Yeah, I
But then
wish
again, whatever.
eh, I I wish they were more friendly to the robots, personally. Cause then
That's
they
tr-
wouldn't have to fucking find ways to control them subtly.
that's true. That's
Yeah.
true. If you had I'm pretty sure if people had robots, they would treat them like less than slaves. Like
Yeah.
treat it nice.
They'll just throw it
Treated like
around.
you, yeah, treated like you would you would want to be treated. Next one. I think there's two more. So this
Alright.
one is this show called Highway Patrol? Is it called Dragnet or is it called Perry Mason?
Perry Mason. Those are two names.
Yeah, it
Oh,
is
I guessed?
called. No, no, you didn't. It's called Dragnet.
Oh, dang. Man,
It's
I
just
am
so.
not I would not be a good showrunner, a titler of anything.
It's just an old detective show. I remember I used to watch it as a kid, and I think their catchphrase was just the facts, ma'am. whenever they'd go question like people. But I don't remember any plots or anything to the show. I just remember watching it. Uh,
Oh,
yeah.
it seems
What's
like
up?
with that one guy, it seems like he would have like with the way that his hand is, that he would always have some sort of cigar in his hand all the time, but like even while he's sleeping, and like in the shower, and like in the bathroom, and like while he's walking the dog, and like while he's in like just having a like on the police time. I always must have this cigar. And then like as soon as the cigar goes, like it's not even a chance for it to hit the ground. It's just, oh, another cigar in my hand.
That
Oh, in
reminds
my
me
mouth.
of the A Team. I think the A Team's like that, where the main dude always has a cigar, and he's always like, what's his catchphrase in the A Team? I love it when a plan comes together because he's always making like plans, and that's what his catchphrase is. And he'd always have the cigar like all the time. Like he could be like you said in like beach wardrobe, and he would still have a cigar. Or he'd be in pajamas and he'd still have a cigar. Like it was always that
Beautiful.
cigar. Yeah, no, fucking it's so easy to write TV because you could like say that and it's like, no, that's true. That's exactly let's do
Yeah,
that,
he's always having the cigar. It's his character.
Last one here, and hope we might get this one easy. So, is this called I Dream of Jeannie? Is this called Bewitched? Or is this called WandaVision?
This is not WandaVision. Um, it's Bewitched. Isn't that the '90s show?
No,
Was
there is a black and white Bewitched.
Okay. I don't know much about that. I'm just gonna call this is Bewitched. I'm seeing it
Nope,
right
this
here.
is this is I Dream of Jeannie. This is actually what inspired our drawing.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
see, here's
cool.
our drawing here, and then here's I there's I Dream of Jeannie. And yeah, Barbara Eden, if you look up colored photos of her, gosh, she's a smoke show. The one who
Ooh,
plays
she
and then she's
looks
always
hot now in Values.
yeah, yeah. But I was like looking up pictures earlier and I was like, God, she's hot. And then she's always calling him master because she's his genie. So like that's even hotter. But yeah,
Exactly. Man, I want her bikini. Where can I find
yeah.
that?
And see, we
Hmm.
have you drawn here kind of like I Dream of Genie.
Oh, it's beautiful.
So that's
Amazing.
why we that's a homage to that. And you could find
Done
the I
perfectly.
yeah, you could find if you want the I Dream of Mint t-shirt. I'm shamelessly plugging it here if you want to help support the show.
Go get yourself
Uh
a copy. Posted places. Take a selfie.
uh-huh.
Be like, I'm in this cool ass shirt. Hey, boom, boom. Then tag me. I'll
Uh-huh.
retweet it.
The link is in the video description. And then lastly, where is it? Oh, here we go. Lastly, we have your stream schedule here. Is this the updated one? I've
No,
fucking
it's not the updated one. The updated
I,
one is not that one, and I didn't send you an updated one because
I'm I'm pretty sure you did, and I just could not remember which one it was. Like, or I couldn't find it. This is the one I found on my downloads.
so I'm just doing streams on every Wednesday and Saturday night on Fansly, 9 p.m. ET. So that's what I'm doing. Just watching along streams. That's what I'm doing then.
Hell yeah, no, and
So
everyone should watch Mint. She's great. I think I tuned in one time and you were stretching, and you know how to stretch. I will
yeah.
say that.
Thanks. I've been it's been a long time coming of stretching.
No, and then you kind of you no, I kind of blew up. You blew up pretty well there with the Star Wars thing, and I'm like, hey, that's great. I know her. I'm glad she's getting her recognition, even if it's for as childish of the reasons people are watching it.
Yeah, that's fine. 19 million people saw me, and that means more people saw me. And that makes me happy because then I could talk to my friends more. You know, like Lorenzo's a good dude.
I
Like
try.
take some of that the people coming from my way, give it to people that I like. You
Hell
know,
yeah,
share the audience.
they call it in wrestling, they call it the rub.
The
Giving the
rub.
rub. Well, it sounds dirty if you're giving me the rub, but
It's like a
uh,
meat. It's like a meat. I'm rubbing the meat.
yeah, you're throwing some of that spice my way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
But if y'all want to check out Mint giving the rub, I'm sure you could check out her Fansly.
Yeah, it's
Uh
fansly.com/, tits mint salad. And
mhm.
also, if you want to fast track a movie review, you can do that for $20 at patreon.com/ASC presents.
Saya
And
yeah yeah yeah.
hey, hey.
Yep,
What is
I
that
know that.
reference to?
Well, you earlier when you were
Oh,
Psyduck.
oh yeah. I forget myself all the time. It's
But
okay. So
there's no reference, like, no one's gonna you know what I mean? Like, it's like a deep cut almost, I don't
yeah,
know. It's
yeah.
funnier when I explain it. It's funnier when I have to explain it, because then it's funny, you know?
Yeah, I forget about the things that I do, and then, like, it's always memes like the "Wow, I can't believe it." Like, I forget that's my catchphrase a lot of the times, and I don't say it as much as I should.
I didn't even know you had a catchphrase.
You didn't know I had a "Wow, I can't believe it" catchphrase because 'cause I'm not saying it all the time. It's from the It's Been Salad show number 2 when I kept saying, "Wow, I can't believe it" to all my art that I'm looking at, and then that just became the catchphrase.
Oh, okay.
So
I had
so
no idea.
if you wanna see all my art, you can also check out It's Been Salad show number 2. It's on ASC Presents, the
Mhm.
YouTube. So,
So we have, the link tree there at the bottom, have, ASE Presents in the description. Go check out Mint Salad. Also, she has her Fansly. She has her Patreon if you want to see old episode of Tits and Areolas, or my Patreon, whichever one you'd prefer.
yes.
And yeah, and we
Look
do
who
this.
finds you, Lorenzo. I know you're
Yeah,
obviously here.
yeah. I'm here on my YouTube channel. I do a great show with you, and then a great show with Dirty Dalish. Uh, called Date with Dirty Dalish. And
Ooh,
then I love our show, Tits and Areolas. And if you want to support the show more, check out the Patreon, patreon.com/Lorenzo Arreola. There's ad-free podcast episodes from my show, That's All Funny, as well as early episodes on there.
heck yeah. That sounds like
Hmm.
a good benefit. Keep it up, Lorenzo.
We're trying.
Just
We're
keep on going. Just keep on busting through. Eventually you'll make it through.
oh yeah. You keep rubbing it, and then I'll bust.
Be like a
We'll
meat tenderizer.
I don't think that's the ideal way to tenderize meat, but
You just gotta keep doing it.
yeah. But I want to thank everyone for watching today. If you want to become a member here, please do so. We'll be here every week. Next week we're doing Psycho, or
Yes.
what, what
Psycho.
was it? Psycho. Okay, cool.
Yes.
Because I
Psycho.
have never seen Psycho.
You've never seen Psycho? Oh my
No,
goodness, it's a perfect film. I have a
I th-
whole review on it. If you want to
I
check that out
actually
before I review.
yeah, I'll definitely watch that, and then have my, because I've always wanted to see it. I just never saw it, but I hear it's the first movie that ever had a toilet flushing.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I've been told too. Yeah.
Yeah, like it was the first, like you never flushed a toilet in a movie before that.
I think it was either like I think there was a one that was like before a little bit. Like there's like one movie before that was also Alfred Hitchcock that had a
Hmm.
toilet, but like it didn't have the toilet flushing specifically. Man,
Yeah,
Alfred Hitchcock really did a lot to change what is shown in TV.
yeah, he fucking pushed some boundaries. Him and the guy at Twilight Zone, Rod Serling, they really like push boundaries with what would like scare people, and like the way I don't think any blood actually shows, or in the shower scene. Well, I'm sorry, we're already
Well,
talking about
there's
it.
yeah, well, okay, we gotta save that for next
Yeah,
week.
yeah, I haven't even seen it,
I
but
could talk about it endlessly. It's
yeah,
so
yeah,
good. Just
yeah.
gotta
We'll
see
talk
it
about it.
first.
Let me watch it first. But I've read a lot about it, so we will be back next week for sure with Psycho. And I want to thank everyone for watching. I want to thank Mint for being who she is. She's the greatest. All y'all fucking check her out at all her things. Support her every way. Support her. Go watch her Star Wars rant. It's great.
Yeah, especially do it if you want to see me yell. If you
Yeah.
want to experience me yelling at you, that's what it is. It's that Star Wars rant.
But
Ah.
thank y'all for being here. Thank you, Mint, and all of y'all. Take care. Bye.
Bye bye.